Sorry, everyone. Got busy pulling leaf apart. I'm gonna finish this jar up. Yeah, I'm here. What's up, Fireplug? Michael. What else is in here? Well, I guess it's just two right now. Just Fireplug and Elwood. Exactly ready. Evidently setting up for the live. Wasn't planning till 4, but I guess here we go. Just jarring up some dark fired. Alright. Yeah, I haven't forgotten Elwood. I promise. Just life and whatnot in general. Okay, give me a second, guys. Let me wash my hands after handling that dark fired. And go get something to cut up for you. .907 Piper, what's up? Okay, got that, got that. Let's see how well I can do this. Okay, so cutting stuff up. Stoving, what do you want to go over first? Anybody's call. Hold on. What do you think about it? Let me grab my coffee. All right. Stoving. So, for me, what I found, you get just a straight Virginia blend, you get that hay and whatnot from it. This brings out more sweet. So, you guys, you've all seen me with fresh Virginia leaf. This is what it turns to after being stoved. Nice dark. It smells sweet. Smells like dark fruit, plum, fig, whatever you want to call it. Helps essentially jumpstart the aging process, in my opinion. So, this is one of the not so pretty leaves, but so real dark color, almost a light leather consistency. Smells amazing. Raisins, but it helps. I mean, brings out different flavors and characteristics in the leaf itself. I know I did one video on the stoving and it was complete trash. I got off on another tangent and whatnot. It's not letting me actually just upload videos, so I'm pretty much having to do everything live. But going through the process of it, essentially like what you just saw me doing with the dark fired, going into a jar, going into the oven at 180 degrees for till the right color and smell happens. And then last hour or two, I do 215 to help get rid of extra moisture. So it's not going in the oven screwed down tight. It's going in lid loose. That way it can breathe, exhaust everything out. Yeah. So, trying to think what else on stoving. I know there's probably tons of questions. Start asking. Best way to do it for me. What else do you want to know about the stoving process, or at least mine? How I do it. What comes from it? Oh yeah, cup of mud. Always a good thing. I knew what you meant, Elwood. Right. So this one was right smooth. So I've done it 6 ways from Sunday. What I've found, if I'm going to flavor one, I usually use vanilla because I enjoy vanilla. I'll stove it part of the way, and then vanilla bean, vanilla extract in it, throw it in, finish stoving it, and then let it sit for anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. It's close. I mean, really, so best analogy I've found for stoving is take a raw onion, take a bite out of it. Now turn around, saute it. What do you end up with? It ends up sweeter, not as harsh. Much rounder corners. It improves. Then you end up with, I do an additional short stove once I make a plug, just to kind of peace of mind for bacterial growth and whatnot. Most molds can't survive 140 degrees, kind of thing. And you end up, no, how well this is going to pick up the camera. You end up with plume after 2 months. So this is a vapor that I made 10/6/18. Not very old, but I don't know. You can kind of see through the jar. It's also what I'm going to be cutting up once we get to the preparing. Ooh. Anti-drop stuff. Oh yeah, she's definitely got some plume going on. So, trying to keep this one kind of short. That way it's actually like watchable for people that weren't able to catch the live. Then we can do a BS live later. But, so anything else on the stoving process? I mean, I just got done stoving like 6 pounds. So it's all pretty fresh. But, yeah. For this kind of time period and whatnot, yes. Virginias are the only ones I found it really helps with. And all the other ones I prefer the flavor before stoving. But let's say with like my English or Balkan, even the vapor. So it does get like a 4-hour stove afterwards. So it's still technically going to be stoved a little bit. But not as heavily or as long, I guess. I'm trying to put that in the right terms. I don't know if it's working or not. Okay. So for cutting and prepare and plug, right? Everybody's probably got a decent assortment of knives and whatnot, and as long as it's sharp, it's going to work. The thing I found best is actually the thinnest knife you got, or with the proper edge profile. See, like, I don't know. Cleaver, I use when I'm cutting the plugs when they're really big, when they're 1-pounders, to make the 2-ounce size. But, so I mean, the way I do it, thinnest pieces possible. Actually, this. But you might not actually get a full flake every time either. Not that big a deal. And then you're going to have to be able to gauge how much you want for what pipe you're putting it in. So you end up with kind of a broken flake consistency, right? And most of y'all probably know this already, but I've had a lot of people asking, Mel Harris, Garbage Man Piper. Mainly it's just a sharp knife and as thin as possible. I prefer something that's got a little height to it. I don't know why, but I do. Just gonna square this back up. And you gotta make sure that you're actually trying to keep it fairly square all the way up and down. I mean, that way you're actually getting everything that's in there all at the same time. Keep that consistency right. But like this blend, this vapor is mostly Virginias. It's 75% Virginia, between bright smooth, and bright sweet, and then 15% Perique. But just that dark, rich. Definitely smoking this later. But yeah, that's, I mean, cutting, preparing it, breaking it up into bits. I don't do the folding stuff with this stuff. Nice, loose shag cut. Trying to get everything broke up best you can. And with a nice, pretty little pot. Well, you're the whole reason that I actually got on here and remembered about it. I appreciate that, Michael. We're just talking about the stoving and whatnot. We can get on video chat later, or you can go back and watch the first portion. This is just Virginia's and Perique right here. Only 15% Perique, 75% Virginia's. Heavily stoved. So I need something to set this on. We're going to cut up some twist now. Put all this on here. Get some dry time. And yeah, this is getting smoked later. All that on there. So this is Mad Modder's Twist. So I found the twists are a little harder to deal with. They definitely create a different flavor profile. And this one is Virginia's Perique and Dark Fired. So she's a bit stout. Twists definitely thinner the blade, at least the way I make them, the better. Can I use the cleaver? I could. Yeah, I don't recommend it though. Cleaver's mainly for really big pieces, making slightly smaller pieces, and then go something smaller from there. But hold shape real well. Just kind of try to get it straightened out just a little bit more than it was. And then same concept. It's going to be a little bit more difficult on the cutting, just because it's not quite as tight. But still, and you got to kind of work at an angle, so you are going to end up with some bigger chunks than not. You're just kind of trying to follow that twist around. If you do it right, you end up with these pretty little coins. Where's my camera? Try to get it to focus in on it. And actually with these, since you're going to end up, if you just unroll it, you're going to end up with some pretty long bits. I kind of rip it in half and then start the whole rubbing out sequence. And this is just what works for me, guys. Not saying it's the only way to do it by any means. I'm just trying to get that good mix on it. Actually, it all depends on the mood, Jake. I mean, if I'm in the mood, and it depends on what blend I'm in the mood for too, but plugs are definitely a lot easier to process. But twists are a lot easier to make. It doesn't take nearly as long. You don't need anything special. You don't need to make your own press or anything. Roll it up as tight as you can until it feels like the leaf you're going to break, and stop just before then. And I throw it in a vacuum seal bag. You can actually still kind of see some of the marks on it from the sealer bag and that textured side on it. And then do my stove in that, or the final stove, just a couple hours to make it hold shape. Dark fired in there. Howdy, Tim. What time is it over there in the UK? I know you did a video on this not too long ago. Well, maybe it's been a month or two. I remember I've been gone. I'm trying to play catch up on videos. But it's not working very well. So, that was quick, dirty basics. Let's see if we can get a little bit more in depth. Oh, that's not too bad. Midnight 30. A little bit more in depth. Any other questions on any of this? Like I said, it hasn't been letting me upload regular videos, so doing this in a live format is kind of nice. Be able to get more input from you guys. You can ask questions, everything else. But trying to keep it under a half hour at least, and we're at 23 minutes. That way anybody else can come in later and watch it without having to drone on and on about just randomness. But how old was the twist? That was made 10/15/18. So October 15th to now, what, 2 months? And it's not showing any signs of plume or anything on this, I don't think. I didn't look that close. Oh. Well, that's not cool. I just dropped part of it. Luckily, this is my own stash, so this isn't going out to anybody. Nobody get stuff that's dropped on the floor, obviously. But I'm not seeing any. I mean, it's definitely, the smell profile has changed immensely. It's a lot. It's not as smoky from the dark fired. It's a lot darker. I don't know. I'm terrible at descriptions like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I haven't tried this for a month, so Tim, did you ever convince your dad to share some of that he won from me? Did you get a chance to try that? That's a bit more than a bowl. If I throw it in my big pipe, it'll fit. Yeah, usually twists, I think it's just the type of tobacco used in twists is why they end up being stronger versus not. Could be wrong on that. But I know mine tend to be. Oh, I did send you some of that one. I forgot. It's been a while. That's right, because you're not a big Burley fan, or you weren't at the time. Or maybe that was the Weber that I'd made for Max Wolf Northwest. Okay, we're running up 26 and a half minutes. Any more questions on stoving or cutting? That's good to hear. I mean, I enjoy all of it, so maybe I'm just lucky in that aspect, but... So, if you're going to do it yourself, definitely suggest mason jars, but not the smallmouth ones if you got anything for bigger hands, wide mouths. And it's a smell thing and color thing. You're almost looking for a burnt sugar smell with like fruit mixed in, I guess. And about twice as dark. You're going from yellow to brown, kind of. So, well, here. That's the color it started as, essentially. So, there's a color comparison. Bright yellow to tan, brown, whatever you want to call it. And I do highly suggest you go through and de-stem it all. And don't pack the jars too tightly, because it will stick together and essentially make a plug in the jar.